Hi, and welcome to Breakfast with Max. I'm Max, your host, and this is your first meal of today, or your first meal after awakening, or during awakening. And I'm very happy to share my light with you and to have you here with me, here and now. Today I want to talk and celebrate the life of an amazing person that on Monday, November the 18th, passed away, leaving her family heartbroken and the entire nation heartbroken as well. And her greatness is such that the entire world is mourning her. Her light was just so huge that she was sharing it with the entire world, as every great people like her. And greatness is not something that only certain person have. We all have that greatness, and being incarnated as we are is already greatness. Not everyone is incarnated here now, in this moment, in this life, in this era. So, well, that's it. Being incarnate is absolutely being great. And then there is the potential to reach a certain greatness, that is that greatness that people that take the opportunity to reach that greatness. And that greatness is light, to shine their light in a certain way that is shared with the entire world. Doesn't matter if you knew it, doesn't matter if you knew her or not. Her light shined around the world. Oh yeah, she loves it. I know. Oh. Okay. I felt it. Sorry. So her Royal Highness Princess Norodom Buppha Devi passed away, and as you can see, I'm touched as everyone else in Cambodia, especially her family, obviously. The princess, as I said, shined her light that was huge, not overwhelming. It's not what I'm saying. Light is an offering, and an offering of sharing. It's never overwhelming. It never erase anyone else's light. Be careful. And so that we were all touched by her, and she's missed by everyone already so much. And as I said, her greatness is the potential. She incarnated in this life as a potential of greatness. We all have that. So you see, it's not. Be very careful, and I'm using third dimensional words, so we have always these ideals, more than, less than, blah 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 bullshit. No, we are all equal. All life is precious. All life is equal. Very important. Anyone that says otherwise has an agenda, and that agenda is not for you. It's not in the love of you. End of story. So her greatness, she incarnated with that potential of greatness. And so first of all, her father is King Norodom Sihanouk, one of the greatest figure in Cambodia history, at least 20th century's history, as he was there in the very most important moments, especially during the dark years. Cambodia lost everything. And the main thing that happened during the dark years is that there was a will of erasing, annihilating everything Khmer of before and create a new idea of Khmer that was under the control of those that were controlling the Khmer Rouge, so that you could have just people that were under control. People that had no mind, nothing, and they could just be put there and used in that way. And let's say it, the genocide, 4 million Khmer killed. 4 million, not 1, not 2, 4. Was a program run by some forces in the dark with that idea of creating mindless people that could be manipulated. And if that had worked out the way they wanted it, they would have applied that idea in other countries. Because that's what happened. It was a laboratory. They tested and they committed genocide. And they created the Khmer Rouge in that idea, and so the Khmer Rouge executed that idea, awful idea, and so they tried to annihilate Khmer, the nation, everything, and everything cultural had to be killed so that the memory will be erased, and with a new memory, and the new memory will emerge. So the princess was, since she started dancing at 5, and at 15 she was a prima ballerina, and she is still known today as the major figure of the 20th century, and she is also known as one of the best in history of the Royal Ballet of Cambodia. And the Royal Ballet of Cambodia is an institution that goes back to the beginning of the Khmer culture and Khmer empire, which goes back. Time doesn't exist, so it's not a question of time, but if you want to put it on a timeline, it's much older than what it is said. It goes way, way, way back before it is said. It's not the 8th or 9th century that the Khmer culture originated. Much older. Anyway, so you see, erasing that culture, erasing the Royal Ballet of Cambodia meant erasing, nearly annihilating everything Cambodian, everything Khmer. Because the Royal Ballet of Cambodia is the link between the kings, the royal family, the Khmer people. It's uniting them, and the Royal Ballet of Cambodia is also the link between the gods and the king and the people. Symbolically, obviously, but not just symbolically, also in reality. And with that, if you erase the Royal Ballet of Cambodia, you erase that link and you erase the memory. So At the end of the war, only 30 of the 400 and plus members of the Royal Ballet of Cambodia survived. Annihilation was not far away. And that speaks also of the idea that the Khmer culture hardly survived. Annihilation was really close at that point. So when the peace was signed and finally King Sihanouk came back to the throne, the princess came back with him and the rest of the family, and after very, very hard reunions with the survivors, they put themselves to work and they recreated the Royal Ballet of Cambodia. Like a phoenix, the Royal Ballet of Cambodia came back to his greatness. And under the lead of the princess, this institution, this very important institution, survived and is still there. So you see, that's a potential, her potential of greatness, her potential of realizing something. She had that potential. It was there. It was not written, it was not established in the sense that we all have free will and we can decide not to do something, even if it's our potential to do it. It's a choice. She chose to do it. She chose to be instrumental in the saving of the Royal Ballet of Cambodia. And by saving the Royal Ballet of Cambodia, she was able to save Khmer culture, the Khmer culture, and to give, let's say, the future of the nation. In the sense that by saving the past, or the memory, by saving the memory, you give the opportunity to the next generation, to those that are coming now, to build the culture with what? With the base of your memory. That memory doesn't go away. You see, that's how our global consciousness work. We have forgotten things that were with us. We are forgotten fairies. We are forgotten dragons. We have forgotten many other beings that were here on this earth with us. But they are still here, but we cannot see them. Why? Because we have forgotten them. We don't remember them as being alive, as being there. So they have gone outside of our consciousness, of our knowledge, but they are still there. We have changed our vibration so that we won't see them anymore. But with the work of the princess and all the survivors that work with her, that was changed, that has changed. And the Khmer culture is still there. And the Khmer culture and the Khmer nation has a future, which is not a future, there is no future, but in the meaning of staying there in our consciousness. And by being there in our consciousness, it means that we can keep work with it. And that the generation that are coming, have to come. Us, because it's our future generation is none else than us, reincarnated. We will keep our memory. So she realized her potential of greatness. Not because she knew, she didn't know, she didn't perceive herself as great. No people, no one that is great perceive themselves as great. They simply are. They are their potential, they are their greatness. They don't need to think, oh, I'm great. Oh, I'm great. Oh, look at me. I'm the greatest. I'm the biggest. I'm the best. I'm this. I'm that. Oh, you know, you never saw anything better than me. Remember someone? Yes, him. And you know he's not great. And he knows it. Because a great person doesn't need to say that they are great. They simply are. And so the princess, all of her life, she simply knew herself as herself. She didn't need to invent anything else for herself. Yes. But I wanted also to say, yes, she wants me to say it. She chose to leave. She chose at the moment she was ready to go. The moment she wanted to go. She went. No one can die. Well, first of all, we cannot die. Okay? Death is not our enemy. Death is not out there to take us away from anyone. It's not possible. We're immortal. And we will always be immortal. We cannot be anything else than immortal. And we are part of our whole self. All the time, not disconnected, but connected with our whole self. So he's the princess, and the princess in this moment is rediscovering her true self, her whole self. She's not the princess as we have known her. She's more, in the sense that she's whole again. She's one again. She's still there. She's still here. As everyone that has left us, they go nowhere. And and this gives me the opportunity to talk about this thing that is death. Death, death, death. This horrible thing. This fear that we have. This thing that we think that, there isn't anything most horrible than death. And that is so final. It's not final. There is no end. Never. There is no beginning and there is no end. Not just, but from the beginning up to the end, there is no beginning and there is no end. There was no Big Bang. That's very funny. Big Bang, no. There is no evolution. No. All theories, but no. And we simply are. Here and now. And talking about beginning or end, it means it implies that there is time. But time, you can put it in any way you want it, but time still doesn't exist. And even after you try to prove time exists, it will still not exist. So, go try, you failed. But you didn't fail because that's your need. You need to prove the existence of something that doesn't exist in order to know yourself. It's fine. Play with it as much as you want. It's your decision, and it's okay. Nevertheless, it still doesn't exist. So also death cannot exist. And we are immortal. How could we die? I tried to say this so many times that I don't remember if I just said it in this portion of today's video, but we don't die. We keep going. We simply cross, let's say, a line from visible to invisible, and we keep going. And well, we keep the illusion. The illusion never goes away. So, what is death? Death is living. Life is the moment where you go from visible to invisible. It's the moment where you are preparing your next step, your next life, your next incarnation. And your next incarnation may be on this world, but it can be in any other world. You can reincarnate as a fairy, you can reincarnate as an assassin, you can reincarnate as a Lyrian or Andromedan, or you can go wherever you choose to go. And this is not the only world. So there are so many other worlds where you can go. And actually you are, because time doesn't exist, so you are all over the universe, all over your lives, your incarnation are happening right here, right now. The whole of you is now, forever. Yeah. And so, when you were born, you weren't born. You created yourself. You are a creator. So what does do a creator? A creator creates, and you create all of you, what you see, what you feel, your body, everything. So your mother, your father never created you. They cannot create you in the sense of creating you. You create yourself. Life creates itself. You don't need anyone to create yourself. The birth, as we experience it, is an illusion, and it's the way we choose that anyone that comes in this reality has to pass through that experience in order to be able to incarnate themselves, so to create themselves, actually. That's how it works. But physical world has some way to manifest itself, so you have to go through what is perceived to be in this world, in this reality, so that you can be. A woman has to carry a child. Doesn't have to be like that. That's what we choose. So that's what's happening. Hard, isn't it? Well, anyway. And so you go through your life where you create everything that happens to you. Nothing that happens to you that you haven't agreed upon. Consent is the base of everything that happens all over the universe, all the time, all the moment, everything. Consent is the base. But you consent to it because it happened to you. As a potential, as anything else, it happened because you gave your consent. You may not know that you consented to it, but if it happened, you gave your consent. It's not possible to anything to happen without your consent. You have to give your consent. And those that co-create with you, they cannot co-create with you without your consent. So you go through life, and anything that happens to you, it's related to your past, what we say, past life, future life, whatever, and you karma, blah 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 blah, and then at some moment, as a potential, you leave this this level of consciousness, this vibration. You change your vibration. That's what death is. You change your vibration, so that those that are in the vibration alive cannot see you, because you are in the vibration not alive. And yes, some have painful death. Death is not random. Nothing in the entire universe is random, in the sense it shouldn't have happened. No. Random is bullshit. It happens because it's perfect. It happens because that's what was decided to happen. It's a potential. So something is planned to happen, and you have decided that you have done everything you set for yourself to do, and that you don't have to keep going with your life. So you choose you see the potential exit, and you choose one of those potential exits. Maybe a sickness, it may be a bump, it may be an accident, it may be whatever else. But that is because we know what is going to happen, and so you have the choice and you choose. May not be conscious, doesn't matter. We don't know. Because we don't know it consciously. But our whole self does know, and we are our whole self. We know. And what happens when we die? Some of us have a moment of adaptation, what can go in different way. It depends what your beliefs are. You may see exactly what you expect to see for a while, in order for you to adapt yourself, and then at some point someone will come and tell you you're dead. But not as a violence, but as a acceptance, as a wake up. But it's not going to be violent, really. There is no violence that can be done. It's your adaptation, and when you adapt yourself to it, you will start to rediscover yourself, the whole self that you are, and all the lies that you have told yourself are going to disappear. You see, you can lie to yourself, you can create a lot of fantasies of what is going to happen after death. All of those fantasies are going to leave you because they are based on nothing. Paradise, hell, you may go to hell, but not because hell exists, only because you believe, and that's what you expect. If you expect so strong that you are going to hell, well, you probably will experience it at first, and then it's going to go away, disappear, because hell doesn't exist, not the way it is portrayed, and not as a punishment. No one is ever punished. There is no punishment. Really, there isn't. You can try as hard as you want. There is no punishment. Why do you think that the law fails so much? It's because it's useless and there is no punishment possible. No one can ever tell you what to do. Only you can choose what to do. And when they try to tell you what to do, and they shouldn't have, it's a violence. It's an act against you, and it's up to you to decide whether you accept it or not, whether you allow it or not. And obviously it's always in the consent that experience happens. But it's still and always your choice. And so once the adaptation, once you realize the whole of you, and you, I'd say, remember the whole of you, because you forget the illusion, you forget the lies, you can then remember the whole of you. At that point, you can start planning your next life, or if we can say that way. It's not exactly that way. As I said, everything is happening at the same time all over the universe. Time doesn't exist, but you have to remember at that point you are not physically incarnated, which means that you are not perceiving time as someone that is incarnated. You are outside of time, and even if you may experience some time, you are outside of it. So your perception of events, it's completely different. We cannot, it's difficult for us in third dimension as physically incarnated. It's very difficult to imagine not being affected by time. But that's exactly what you are once you are not incarnated. You free yourself from time in a certain way. Because even if in fifth dimension they still have a sort of time, it's nothing like us in third dimension. And as we are already in this moment, we have already connected ourselves with with our fifth dimensional self. We are already experiencing time in a different way than, like, say, in 1980, the Dark Ages, when we were enslaved. So, yeah, don't fear death. So, sorry, I was saying, at that point you start seeing things in that way, and so you can start planning the next steps in your incarnation, which is absolutely, well, you have to imagine that you're outside time as we perceive it here in third dimension. So you already know, you are already incarnated, because in our dimension there is everything because everything happens at the same time. So when you put something in time, you are putting it exactly at the same time as everything else, because there is only this moment. And so that also means that it is happening right now. What you are experiencing is the illusion of getting there, the long way. But you are already there. That's the secret. And so, in time, you start a new incarnation. Which can be close or far away. Anyway, so death is not your enemy, is not your friend. Death is just a neutral thing that is present in our consciousness, which means exit of from a vibration to enter a new vibration that changes your perspective, and so it changes your way of being. And in fact, death is also for the living. All the experience that you have, seeing someone dying and then having a ceremony, cremation, whatever, it's for the living. The dead are dead, they have left. So, okay, time to finish. Went far away from what I wanted, but much longer, because I done this fourth time before finding the way I wanted to say these things. But it was difficult, very emotional. It's not easy to talk about someone that has just left in the right way. And I'm going soon to have a discussion, to have a guest, the first living guest, on Breakfast with Max, that is coming in order to talk about the princess, someone that knows her very well because it's a member of her family, and they have interacted with each other a lot of many times, and it's the best person, one of the best person to talk about her, and we will be able to celebrate her life together in the best way and with a lot of love. So for now I say thank you for your light, and I'm looking forward to see you, to share your light, my light and your light, to share them together and co-create together again soon. And that happen till then. In the love and light of the one Creator, I say goodbye and thank you.